8 police officers dead in a single night. Every bridge out of Manhattan is sealed, every tunnel is blocked, 8 million people on an island and 2 men who can't leave it. 1 detective, 5 hours, and a secret buried so deep inside the NYPD that uncovering it might cost him everything. This is 21 Bridges, a 2019 action thriller that takes place over a single sleepless night in a city that's been turned into a trap. The lead performance is one of the most commanding you'll see in this genre, disciplined, intense, and driven by something deeply personal. It starts at a funeral, and it never really stops. The film opens on a young boy standing at his father's funeral. His dad was a police officer, shot and killed on duty. The boy doesn't cry the way most children cry at funerals. He watches. He absorbs. And somewhere in that moment, a vow gets made that will shape everything that follows. That boy grows up to be Detective Andre, a rising figure in the NYPD with a reputation that makes even his own department uneasy. 12 shooting incidents, all fatal, all rules justified, and has made a career out of hunting the people who kill police officers. And he is very, very good at it. But internal affairs tracks his every move, and there are people in the department who see him less as a detective and more as a loaded weapon, pointed in whatever direction serves the moment.
Justice is not determined by me,
but I am the sharp end of that determination.
Says who?
My badge.
Andre rejects the label. He calls every shooting self-defense. He calls it doing the job. What he doesn't say, what he can't quite articulate yet, is that every trigger pull is also a conversation with a ghost. On the other side of the city, 2 men with very different temperaments are walking into what they think is a straightforward job. Michael and Ray, both former war veterans, both small-time criminals, have been hired to rob a winery and steal a specific quantity of cocaine from its storage. They've been told what to expect. They have a number in their heads, but the moment they get inside, that number is wrong, catastrophically wrong.
That's not 30 keys. 300.
Instead of a manageable stash, they find 300 kilograms, 10 times what they were promised. Someone either made a serious mistake, or they were never meant to walk out of this clean. Before they can decide what to do, off-duty police officers who happen to be gathering nearby stumble onto the scene. What follows is not a standoff, it's a massacre. Ray opens fire. By the time it ends, 8 officers are dead, and Ray and Michael are running into the night with 30 kilograms and a photograph of their getaway car taken by a traffic camera at a red light. That photograph is going to cost them everything. The NYPD's response is immediate. Andre is handed the case and makes a deduction nobody else has caught yet. FBI agents Butchko and Dugan show up attempting to take over the investigation, arguing that the perpetrators have already fled the state.
Like the 7 behind us?
Who are you?
Narcotics.
Andre shuts that down fast, walking them through his reasoning about the cocaine discrepancy, about the handler still being local, about why the 5-hour window is the right call. The robbers took only 30 of 300 kilograms. They weren't expecting that much, which means their handler is still in New York, which means they haven't run. He argues for the lockdown.
How you gonna do this?
Close the island. There are 21 bridges in and out of Manhattan. Shut them down.
All 21 bridges and tunnels sealed, no subway, no escape. And he gets it. 5 hours. Until 5 a.m. Andre is paired with Burns, a narcotics detective who knows the cocaine trade in Manhattan with an intimacy that only comes from years working deep inside it. She's sharp and accustomed to operating in the gray areas where the law and the criminal world overlap. From the moment they meet, there's friction, not hostility exactly, but 2 people with very different instincts being asked to trust each other under the worst possible pressure. That pressure gets worse almost immediately. Andre and Burns get their first real break from the traffic camera photograph. Andre traces the car to its owner, a woman who turns out to be the ex-girlfriend of a man named Bush, who served as the liaison between Ray and Michael and whoever hired them. The net is beginning to close, but not fast enough, and not only for Davis. Ray and Michael are not sitting still. With the island sealed and their window narrowing, they track down Bush and pressure him to contact their handler, demanding new identities and more money in exchange for their silence. The handler agrees. A fixer named Addie is put in motion to supply them with fresh identities and instructions to get out of the country via Miami the next morning. It's a plan. A thin one, but a plan. Andre and Burns locate Bush first, but so do police officers, who arrive ahead of them and shoot Bush dead before he can talk. Andre catches police officers in the act of planting his sidearm on the body to make the killing look like self-defense. It's a move that should disqualify the police officers, but instead of being pulled from the case, they're quietly absorbed back into it. Andre files that away. He's keeping a list of things that don't add up, and it's getting long. Then something else doesn't add up. A police unit locates Addie's apartment with suspicious speed, far faster than the investigation should have allowed. When they get there, Addie is mortally wounded in the raid, but before he dies, he manages to pass Michael 2 flash drives. Ray and Michael escape again, drives in hand, with no idea yet what's on them, only that someone wanted Addie dead badly enough to send a police unit to do it. Andre and Burns finally catch up to Ray and Michael. What follows is chaotic and costly. A civilian is accidentally killed in the confusion, a detail that hangs over the rest of the film like a quiet indictment. Ray is mortally wounded by Andre. It should feel like progress. It doesn't, not completely. Michael, backed into a corner, does something unexpected. He holds Burns at gunpoint and talks. He tells Andre about the flash drives.
The manager at the spot we hit, he knew the cops were coming. This whole thing is filthy. You can't move that type of weight around without cartels or cops or both. And right before we left, the cleaner gave me thumb drives.
Give what?
Drives. USBs and shit.
He tells him that something is very wrong with this investigation, that too many people seem to know too much too fast, and that the people hunting him aren't just chasing justice. Then he escapes, and Andre lets him go, because the drives are more important than the collar, and Michael alive is the only witness he has. Burns turns on Andre immediately.
Why didn't you shoot him? They told me you were fearless. The guy who kills cops.
She challenges him directly, pointing to his reputation, to every case he's ever closed, to the expectation that a man like him does not let a cop killer walk. It's a sharp, well-aimed attack, and Andre absorbs it without flinching, because somewhere underneath the argument, he's already begun to notice that Frankie Burns knew about Addie's apartment before she should have. Michael finds a hotel room, opens the drives, and what he finds stops him cold. The files aren't just evidence of corruption, they're a full record of it. Captain McKenna's precinct has been running the drug trafficking operation out of the winery for years. The officers who died that night weren't innocent bystanders caught in a robbery. They were participants. They were inside the machine. And now Michael is holding the proof. Andre tracks Michael to a subway train, one of the few still running inside the sealed system. He corners him. And instead of drawing down, Andre makes a different choice. He talks. He promises Michael that if he surrenders, he will keep him alive. Michael, exhausted and out of options, and perhaps sensing that Andre is the only person in the city tonight who might actually mean what he says, agrees. He puts down his weapon, and then Burns shoots him. She boards the train, claims she thought Michael was still a threat. Michael uses the last of what he has to press the drives and their password into Andre's hand. He dies with the evidence secured. And Andre, standing in the middle of a celebration that feels like a cover story, now knows exactly who he is dealing with. Andre is alone now, in the way that really matters. Not physically, but operationally. He has the drives, he has the password, and he has the one thing nobody thought he'd still have at this point in the night: the full picture. The drives confirm everything Michael told him. McKenna's precinct was the operation. The 8 dead officers were on the payroll. The robbery at the winery wasn't a random criminal opportunity. It was a threat to a system that had been running quietly and profitably for years, and the people inside that system responded with lethal efficiency. Bush was silenced. Adie was silenced. Michael was silenced. Andre is about to walk into the middle of all of them with nothing but the truth and whatever he uploaded to the internet before he knocked on McKenna's door. Dawn is breaking over Manhattan when Andre walks into McKenna's home, alone and holding everything. McKenna doesn't run. He doesn't pretend. He makes his case with the calm of a man who has rehearsed it. The officers were underpaid, overstretched, living on wages that didn't match the danger they faced every day. The drug operation wasn't greed, he argues. It was survival. It was taking care of people the system had abandoned. Andre doesn't buy a word of it. Then the room erupts. What follows is brutal, fast, and relentless. Andre is outnumbered. He moves hard through the ambush, taking cover, returning fire. One by one, they go down. McKenna is last. He refuses to surrender, and Andre obliges him. 5 years of corruption end in about 40 seconds of gunfire. Then Burns steps out of the shadows, gun raised, the final card played. She's the last piece. Andre doesn't reach for his weapon. Instead, he talks, calmly, precisely, with the quiet certainty of a man who planned for this exact moment.
You're going down, Burns. Every dirty cop in 85 is going down. Your daughter doesn't need to grow up without a mother.
The information is already out. He leaked it before he arrived. Killing him now changes nothing except what happens to her daughter, who would grow up with a mother serving life for murdering a detective. Burns lowers the gun. It's over. That's 21 Bridges. One night, one island, and a case that goes far deeper than anyone in that precinct wanted it to. It's a lean, precise thriller that earns every beat of its tension, built around a lead performance that never lets you look away. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Then come back and tell me in the comments whether you saw Burns coming. Hit subscribe for more breakdowns like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.